You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, guys, super excited about having a guest interview for you guys lined up today. Something a little bit different, and I'm going to get into why this is a little bit different, but I'm really personally excited about having this guest on our show today. We are joined by none other than Paul Rathnam, joining us all the way from beautiful Texas. On the show today, the founder of ModPools. So, Paul, welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing today?
Yeah, Brian, thanks for having me. I'm doing really good. Having a good day so far.
Awesome, brother. Well, you're down in Texas, so what's the weather like? You guys in the 50s, the 100s? How's the weather going over there?
Well, I'm a bit Canadian, and by a bit, mostly Canadian. So it's like 28 degrees. How's that?
Okay.
Does that mean anything to you?
Celsius or Fahrenheit, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess, what is that? I don't know. Is that 90? Is that 85? I think something like that. I got to convert it.
Man, I don't know. In Michigan, we could have all that in the same week. You know what I mean? It's I saw once it was like, it was a meme on Instagram. It was like Michigan's throwing out numbers like it's the Powerball, 25, 75, 16, 38. You know, it's just, we live in the Midwest, brother. So we talk about the weather because something changes every day. Amen.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited about having you on the show today. Thanks for taking time out of your busy calendar and schedule and life. So I got to start off really quick with how we got to know each other for just a hot second, because if you guys are listening into the show, we talk about all things lawn care, landscaping, day in, day out. And I love it. That's my business. And by running this podcast, I have to have like a public email for it. And so I get hit up by ad agencies and different people all day long. No lie, I was telling Liz I was hanging with her this afternoon for a quick second driving, and I said, Liz, I think, no lie, I've been hit up to have 500 plus guests on our show, from authors and speakers and gurus to just wackos, you know what I mean? Like the whole gamut. And so normally I don't even look at the emails anymore. I just, you know, it is what it is. Well, I get an email comes through, and I still check every email because, you know, maybe you find a gem, right? And so I'm going through this one ad agency email just about 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, you know, just looking through it. I'm like, no, couldn't care less. And then I went, holy crap, I know this dude. Like, I know of ModPools. Like, I followed your Instagram for probably, I don't know, at least 6 months to a year now. And I've told Liz, well, so Paul, this is a kindred story to me, because like my wife and I are about to build our custom home, and we're going to do the patio and the outdoor living space and all this other mess. And so I said, dude, why don't we get a mod pool? And so like, maybe we'll work out a brand deal later. You know what I'm saying? I'm just having fun. But no lie, I told Liz, my wife, I said, these things are bad to the bone. And so I followed you guys. I try to keep up. And then, like I said, this email came across my desk, and I went, actually, I emailed the lady back, your assistant lady, and I said, actually, I'd be interested in talking to Paul if he's available. And a couple of emails later, we were able to lock this down. So, Paul, I just got to say, thank you for taking time on my show. Thanks for having them all reach out. We're glad to have you. So, ModPools, if you guys aren't following along, I highly encourage you to check them out on Instagram. But give me the 2-minute, maybe high level about who you are, your background, who and what is ModPools, and then we'll kind of break some things down on the show today.
Yeah, no, thanks for the intro. And yeah, ModPools, I mean, we manufacture swimming pools out of shipping containers, I think is kind of our punchline. And from that, we try to build a really user-friendly, multi-functioning pool. And I designed this pool myself back in 2015. And I was in the container business, modifying containers for oil and gas and mining and construction and stuff. So I was always taking other people's, you know, ideas and what they wanted, and then making it work in a container and, you know, fitting out things. And then I came back from vacation after like 4 trips to Palm Springs, doing Airbnbs with pools every time, and then kind of decided, hey, I got to build myself a pool.
Okay.
So that's kind of where the idea was born. And then from there, you know, it just sort of, it's evolved from that and sort of taken shape. And yeah, that's the product we have today, was sort of born out of the idea of like, I want a pool. I'm a container guy and I want to do all of these things. And how can I do that?
Wow. Now, did you have a design built before this? Was this something that was a proof of concept? I need to go sell a couple of these things, or what was the first inception? Like, who was your first customer?
Yeah. So the nice thing is I was my first customer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I was building a pool for myself. I had no pressure from a client, because we've all been in that position where you've got pressure from a client to perform, and you're really doing things the way they want it done. You might suggest like, hey, that water fountain over there looks kind of dumb, but you really, at the end of the day, they're paying the check, they're paying you. So you got to do what they want you to do. So
Sure.
Being my own customer kind of gave me the freedom to screw up, make mistakes, try again. It was a long process in designing it. I mean, the idea came really quickly. I drew it out on a napkin, and actually today that napkin sketch is our best-selling pool still.
Okay.
Ironically, our 8 by 20 foot mod pool with a spa seating and a window. Now that took a long time to kind of build that and work out the details and such. But being my own customer was the best place to start. I highly recommend it.
Sure.
And I didn't really need a business idea per se. I mean, I could tell the industries we were in were starting to get a bit soft. Oil and gas was getting soft, but I didn't feel like an immense pressure to like, man, if you don't get this product off the ground, you're going to go bankrupt. So it wasn't like that, which is really nice. But yeah, that's kind of where the idea came from. Put it into action, built my first pool, went back to my shop from Palm Springs, and my guys were like, "We're building a what?" I'm like, "We're going to build a swimming pool out of a container." And so I looked for prior art. I searched around the internet, really didn't find anything. There was nothing, no content really. There was a company in Australia, but they were putting fiberglass shells in, and I didn't see anything. And then I went to my patent lawyer at that time and said, "Hey, can we design patent this? Like, I got this idea. I think it might work." But even at that point, I didn't really think it was going to be that successful. I wasn't sure if we were going to sell 1 or 10 or 20 or,
Sure.
0 maybe. I don't know.
Wow. That's crazy. I wrote down some questions just in the last 20 minutes, and I'm like, we're going to get into the thick of it. We ain't going to waste any time. Usually I talk too much on my podcast, I filibuster, right? So we're not going to do any of that today, because I want to hear, compared to different pool types out there, like who's the target customer? Who are buying these things? How are you building them? How did you build the infrastructure to support the company? I mean, you're like you said, in sales and a contractor by background here, and so that's what all my guys listening into the show today. That's what we all do, is we put in beautiful landscape designs and hardscape design projects. And so I want to see if any of these guys listening in maybe have already incorporated some of your pools into maybe some of the backyards across the country. You never know. It's got to be some crossover somewhere. So if you guys all want to hang tight with me just for one quick second, we're going to hear from today's show sponsors and announcements. And then when we come on back, we're going to hear a little bit more from Paul here, talking about ModPools and everything that they got going on. So guys, hang tight and we'll come right on back.
Are the increasing labor, fuel, and material expenses affecting your bottom line? In order to battle against these fluctuating market factors, it's important to understand your numbers and shift your strategy if needed as the economy changes. Having a team to handle the bookkeeping and CFO services will help you stay ahead of these changes. The team at Cycle CPA provides reports on a monthly basis to ensure you are making a profit and hitting your goals. Comparing your reports to past periods, green industry benchmarks, and comparing between service lines will help to underline areas that need to be improved on for the next period. Visit their website, cyclecpa.com, and mention Brian's podcast to receive $200 off on bookkeeping and CFO services.
Ready to charge up your business and take it to the next level? Well, plug in and join us for Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022. Don't miss this electrifying opportunity to hear from our top industry professionals. Get powered up in this high-energy atmosphere, learning trade industry knowledge and ways to level up your thinking. This high-energy teaching and networking event is full of motivational information, giveaways, and trade industry secrets. Take charge and register now for the industry's largest training event of the year, Launchpreneur Academy Live 2022.
All around, it's just a great experience.
I didn't realize how important that LAL is.
You get more than you spend at for a 4-year degree.
Man, I can't wait. This has been a great event, and I will definitely be back next year.
Take charge and register now.
Entrepreneur Academy Live is Saturday, November 12th in Novi, Michigan.
And we're going to get a little bit more detail. I want to help you guys grow larger companies, more crews, more profitable businesses, a little bit more X's and O's.
And the link to register is in the podcast description.
All right. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening to the show announcements and today's show sponsors. Always appreciate them supporting the show. So, Paul, we're going right back to you, brother. I just want to kind of jump back into the thick of it. It's almost like, where do you start on this? Because it's the most... Well, help describe a little bit more about the product, because I think that's really what separates you guys from a traditional pool. And maybe talk about the pros and cons, the different pools options that are out there, and then maybe where you saw this fill in a need.
Yeah, I'd like to say I had enough foresight to think about where a product would fit in the marketplace. I just kind of blindly went into it because I wanted a pool myself, and where our product ended up fitting. I actually just was responding to an article request and doing some notes before we talked. And where we ended up fitting is kind of an in-between product where we can be a full-blown pool. We have pools that are 12 wide, 40 feet long, full, you wouldn't want a bigger pool than that. And we got pools that are 16 feet, small pools. So we can be a swim spa, we can be a hot tub, we can be a full-blown pool. We're built in a factory, so everything's plug and play ready, meaning you supply the gas and the power, and you can be swimming pretty quickly.
Wow.
I'm actually installing one at a property that I bought in Austin. It's going to turn out to be an Airbnb. It's where we're living in the meantime while another property is being finished. But
okay,
I'm installing a pool myself there, so I'm doing it. I just been doing a little bit of video and I just want to show people that you can do this yourself. So I run excavators and bobcats, doing that since I was a little kid, and I've always loved construction and landscaping, and that's where I made my first $5 an hour, was with my uncle doing that stuff. So I rented an excavator and I dug a hole, and I've been doing the whole thing myself. And my point is that it's quite simple. The installation is really easy. So I think that's another really great point about our product is you don't have to shore up dirt. You can literally just dig a hole, put the thing in the ground, backfill it. It's quite easy to use. So that's I think one of our best selling features, plug and play ready, easy to use, and it's all built in. So it's Wi-Fi connected. You can run it on your smartphone. So I think we're just trying to keep it really simple. It's a simple product. It's easy to install. Those are things, as I would imagine landscapers and landscape design guys and girls would want something just fairly quick and easy. And I think that's where we've found a lot of traction. We just finished selling our 1,000th pool. I think we built our 1,000th pool.
Wow.
We're on from that now. So we've had just a great line of success with that. And the people we're trying to really empower now, actually our new campaign really is empowering contractors, landscape design, landscapers, just to say, hey, it's not so intimidating. This is actually a really easy product to use. We got good support on a contractor's package on how to install it. And I'm doing it myself just with one person, with just me. I mean, I've got my plumber and my electrician there on site today hooking the two sources up. But other than that, I've done everything myself.
Wow. That's insane. So let me ask you this, compared to, like you said, you're in betweener. So where is the other ends of that spectrum? Like, if somebody's building a fiberglass shell type pool, or what's the other, gunite or whatever?
Yeah, there's gunite. There's like your traditional, gunite pools. There's fiberglass pools. Gosh, I don't know what else there is out there. Those are pretty,
the main.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of always, it's not derogatory. Maybe it is, but I always referred to the pool industry as kind of bowling alleys. There's not a lot changed since, 50 years ago. It's pretty much a round ball with shoes. Maybe the disco ball got added, but it's basically the same stuff.
That's fair.
So there really hasn't been a lot of innovation. And I think doing something built in a factory just takes off all that site work. Putting in an equipment room. You think of a fiberglass pool, you got to plumb it all in ground. You got to build that mechanical room. You got to find a place for it. It's a lot of work. You got to backfill it with sand. I mean, I've never done one. I just know a little bit about them.
Sure.
But it's pretty intensive. Whereas like the little blog I'm doing now with my pool install, I'm showing that like I myself am going to do this thing. I think I'm going to do it in 4 days.
Wow,
4 complete days.
That's insane.
From beginning to end. And I'm hoping to show like a nice design, but a simple design. And I'm going fully in ground. The nice thing with our product is you can use it on a slope. You can put it behind a deck. There's a lot of easier installations than the one I'm doing, but I'm showing a full in-ground flush install. And I want to show that one because I think that intimidates people, and they look at it and go, our customers go, well, we got to have somebody really fancy coming in, and they try to hire a super duper contractor, and they get this big bill. And I'm trying to show people, like, hey, this is actually really easy.
Oh, sure.
I went to Home Depot and I rented an excavator. That's what I did.
Well, and I just got to add, like you said, you might, if you get a traditional pool builder, you might have to like build a retaining wall. Depends on grades and slopes, and you have to have the square spot for it, above ground, below ground, all this mess. And and again, there's pros and cons to everything out there. Don't get me wrong, but where I actually was looking at this, and the reason I followed the page, I mean, guys, I can't be more honest with you. I'm not getting paid to say nice things about ModPools, nothing like that. I literally, I mean, I've had 500 plus people email, like, it has to be. And I said, no. And I'm like, holy cow, I'd actually like to pick this guy's brain because this property that we have, Paul, it's 3.5 acres. It's a little bit wider of a rectangle, but it's rectangle in nature. And the back third of our property has this valley where it kind of slopes down. And I told my wife, I'm like, this is perfect for like a pole barn to a house, like in this big L. And then with that valley, I said, we could like square off a little bit, put a mod pool there, have 2 steps going down to like an in-ground fire pit thing. Have my friend Josh Sutton, who's a hardscaper, build this thing because I don't know what I'm doing. And and I said, you can have this big I don't even know what it is, plexiglass window, and you can like see people floating in this bad boy. And I was literally showing it to her just the other day because she's like, who's your guest on Monday? And I said, you got to see these things. And she's like, oh my God, that's actually pretty dope. And again, I'm not sure if we're going to go that route, but it's an option. It's like, it's part of the conversation where, before it was just, I mean, we're getting quotes these days for pools for a couple $100,000, and it's 18 to 24 months out in our market right now, Paul. And it's wild. So I told my wife, like, I mean, you got to find that balance between like what you want and what's the budget. And, I'm not putting in a Lucas Lagoon, water feature in my backyard. Okay. So, shout out to that guy. But okay, let me ask you this. So the question I have is building them. I love manufacturing. I just love the scalability of things. You guys are building a new manufacturing facility, it sounds like. So how did the first design go? Was it a success? Was it a flop? I mean, and then how did you start getting the interest, for these things? Did you realize, hey, we got something here, we got to start scaling this thing and building these things quick? Or, I mean, that's a really quickening kind of a story, if you will, in just the last 7 years?
Yeah, I mean, we launched in 2017 was our first trade show in Vancouver, and then we did one in Austin, Texas, and ironically, we have facilities in both those locations, which is weird. I don't know how that happened exactly. But yeah, I just bought a facility here just outside of Houston. It's about 40 minutes out of Houston. And it's 135,000 square feet manufacturing plant with overhead cranes and sandblasting and all that. Cause we really just wanted, we had this, 180 pool backlog, in the last year or so. And we just weren't able to really, give out the best timelines. We're looking at 6 to 8 month timelines, and we can build a pool in a week. From beginning to end. So we didn't, we really want to be more, just quicker response time to manufacturing. So that's why we made the move, bought this facility, and decided to really go for it. And now we're producing, I think we produce about 2 pools a day between both facilities.
Wow.
And so we've really been able to scale up and ramp up. But the process to get here has been, pretty painful. We built our first pool. And then we built another pool to go to the trade show with. And really, that's all we had. I think we had built 2 or 3, maybe 3 pools. I think I traded a concrete guy a pool to do some of our concrete work
sure.
at the time. And so, yeah, we just went to a trade show. And it was actually like, I'm not an anxious person, but that was the first time I really felt anxiety in my life where I put, $40,000, $50,000 out, built a pool, got a spot in a trade show. And just crickets, people walking by, and you're just thinking, like, what did I do? Like,
oh no!
Someone asked if it was a dumpster, and I'm like,
oh my God, that's great.
But then this really nice lady came by, and she looked at it. She asked a couple questions, and she looked at me, and she said, "That's a genius product. You're going to be a millionaire." And then she just kept walking,
wow,
like a sign from God. And then at that point, I got out from behind the desk, and I'm like, man, I got to sell this stuff. Like, you're right. This is a great product, and so kind of ever since there, we got a lot of free PR because it was such an innovative product. We got on Yahoo's front page at the time. Yahoo was one of the bigger search engines. And then we had a website it was a account called Fatherly, and I think they're on Facebook. They did a mashup of our product, and I think it got between 60 and 80 million views.
Wow.
So there's a real launching pad. We ended up doing stuff with Nike and Disney, Ninja Warriors, Property Brothers. We just started just, the phone was just ringing, emails were coming in. And that's what really launched us. That really gave us a lot of free marketing. So we went, to educate the public to a new product is extremely expensive.
100%.
And if you want to go bankrupt, it's probably a great way to do it, right?
Sure.
So having that ability to just go from 0 to 100 real quick, we literally sold 100 pools our first year, and we were building one a month.
Wow.
So we quickly had a manufacturing problem where it's okay, we can build 1 or 2. How do we build 100 of these things? And how do we build them with quality? And how do you, there's no prior art to lean on. You can't just Google it and go, what coating do we use? And how do we treat the metal? And what equipment do we use? I mean, none of the pool companies wanted to touch us. We're a competitive, cancer to them.
Okay.
And so we really had no help. So I had to just wing it and just try stuff. And I ended up with a container full of pool parts that were useless, bought the wrong stuff, didn't work. But repetitively, we just kept working at it to a point where I felt, okay, we've got a good enough system here where we can really go for it. And that's kind of how we got, a marketing or a manufacturing process in mind, because once you start scaling, you've got to have a foolproof process, and you've got to have a team that follows it day in, day out. I mean, that's the key to manufacturing.
Wow.
So that's that's sort of where kind of fast forward to where we are now. And we have 2 facilities running manufacturing, kind of covering both ends of North America. And
how many teammates do you guys have working for you right now then in total, if you don't mind me asking?
So I've got about 100 employees at the moment.
Wow. Okay. And then 2 facilities. And you're originally from Canada, you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I was born in Abbotsford, BC, which is about 45 minutes outside of Vancouver, Canada.
Okay. And then now, did you just, was the first trade show up there in Canada or down in Texas, or how did the Texas come into play?
Yeah, so the first one we did in Vancouver, and then we, came up from behind the desk, sold some pools there and went, hey, we should do another trade show. And the next one on the trade show circuit was in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
So we packed up everything. 2 weeks later, we did one in Austin, and we sold a handful of pools there as well. And that's what kind of got us there.
Wow. So is it like a pool and spa show or something, I guess, I would imagine?
Yeah, it was like a home and garden show.
Yeah.
And they were... Mm-hmm.
Well, I was going to say we have one at Suburban Collection Showplace. It's like the place to have an event of any type in our state over here in Metro Detroit, Michigan. But they have the home show once or twice a year. And Liz and I have gone for 8 years, since we've been, more than that, probably 10 years since we've known each other. My wife and I, we've been together for 10, married for 8. And it's, $15 cheap date, Friday or Saturday. And sometimes your ticket can be used for 2 days, and, just go back up, get a pretzel and see what's there. But they always have pool companies, spa companies, hot tub companies, like the Michael Phelps, type swim spas, I think you call them. So this has always been I'm a big lighting guy and I'm a big pool guy, so we all work so freaking hard. Everybody listening to the show, I pray everybody gets a sauna and a $8,000 cozy chair, and your beautiful landscape and patio and pool just to chill out, because we all do and serve all of our customers like this for hours on end, breaking our backs. And so this stuff, I always told my wife, I said, I personally, one day after 20 years doing this, I pray that I would be in a position that I would be able to have my dream backyard, my dream pool, right?
Right.
We've done this for everybody else for 2 decades. And I'm like, when do I get mine? Right. That's always been kind of my attitude. Glad to serve. So, gosh, there's so many other things I could just continue to go down that whole manufacturing process. I mean, that is just another American success story. One quick thing I wanted to ask you a little bit more about was the marketing, because there's friends of mine that design products and they break out, use the social media and influencers and that whole blogosphere, which is awesome. I still think it's one of the most underrated things. People social media's, not dead, but it's, they undervalue it, I guess. They're it's got to be print media or radio, or if you're not in a magazine, you don't have credibility. And those things are true, but like, I bought this new snowplow, for example, Paul, and I made an Instagram post on it. It hit a manhole cover, and you could see it like pull in and push out. It's new technology, blah, blah, blah. To date, in less than 30 days on my Instagram on a reel has 10 million views. And
holy.
Yeah, I mean, like
10 million?
10 million.
Jeez, that's
yeah.
great.
And,
Wow.
and another million on TikTok. And by the way, my Instagram account has 50,000 followers and my TikTok's got 9,000. I'm a small fish. Okay. Like I'm not cheddar, reposting this thing. Right. So,
yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more about marketing. Cause some people still even listen to the podcast, we're trying to get lawns and hardscape jobs and, sell work, and you're trying to sell pools. And then I got some people like, yeah, I just don't post on Instagram. I don't take Facebook serious. I know I need to do it, but they're not. And I'm like, it's free. But they'd rather spend $5,000 on postcards, which is fine. But I mean, to get 10 million views and impressions, I don't care if it's, your grandma all the way to like a 7-year-old kid on his mom's iPhone at the store, like 10 million somethings is a lot. Okay, folks, like
That's
you guys,
a lot.
yeah. So,
I mean, if you picture 10 million people in one area,
like
in a big field somewhere, I mean, that's where I try to view social media is like, how else would I be able to get in front of this many people at once with a message? I mean, my dad was a preacher growing up, and I was, born in a pew at church, and it was always about, at the end of the day, it's really about numbers, right? Like how many people are in this congregation, you're preaching to them, how many people can you affect right now?
Right.
It's very limited, but this wonder of modern technology, like we get to be in front of all these people at once. And you're absolutely right. Like Instagram is my favorite because you don't have to, it's not a big commitment. You take a picture. I try to keep a few words, only down to a few words. I just say what the pool is, what size it is, and a little blurb about it. And like, that's really how we've done most all of our marketing. And we shut off our marketing as of January last year. We don't spend $1. We just now started spending some money, but we were just so backed up on orders. We had no need to do any other marketing.
Right.
And that's all we've been doing is just basically Instagram, email campaigns, and that's it. And I think you're right. If people saw the value in that, and you're going to have one follower to start with, and then you're going to have 10, and then you're going to maybe have 100. It is going to be a slow start. And I think because of that, it kind of intimidates people. They go, well, I can't really make it different. I'm only like,
I'm one
who's
guy.
going to follow my snowplow video? Like, who the hell cares about snowplow?
Right.
Well, apparently 10 million people care about snowplow.
Is it wild? It's
if
wild.
you came to me and said, hey, Paul, I want you to invest in this video. I want to give you 10% or whatever, and it's about snowplows, I would have laughed at you.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, man, sure.
Right.
I'm going to go buy a coffee and be on my way.
I tell people all the time, they call it ad buy. A traditional ad buy for 100,000 views on YouTube would cost $100,000. And if a company comes to me for 5, 10, 20 grand, which isn't all the time, but once in a while I might get lucky, and that's a brand deal or sponsored, piece of content. And I'm full disclosure. Hey, this is sponsored content. I have to FTC, blah, blah, blah. And my audience, they love seeing me win. I love seeing them win. We're all into this together. But traditionally, if a company's like, hey, we'll give a social media influencer 10 grand or 100 grand, and the same ad buy in a magazine, a full page spread is 100,000 or more, or TV is millions, right? Like it's no brainer. So why would you not take advantage of social media? What was like your guys' big I say a big break, but like first break? Like did you was it an article you might have said, or Yahoo might have picked you guys up? Like, did you notice like you were on some website or the page, and then we got like 20 phone calls that day and 7 pools sold? Like, did you know that was when you hit critical mass? Yeah,
I mean, I was out golfing on Easter Sunday, and all of a sudden my phone started blowing up with emails, and I actually responded to the first couple. It was like, hey, how much are your pools? And I'm like, that's weird. I don't really get emails on Sunday. But I was just in between holes, right? Just answering a few emails. And then it just got to like, all of a sudden, just like, I got like 500 emails. And
whoa.
Like, fast. No way. I'm like, there's no way I can keep up to this. So I just turned my phone off because everyone's getting annoyed, and put it in the golf cart, and then got back to my car. And it had like just these hundreds of emails. And I was like, what happened? And it turned out a friend of mine that was at the trade show was bugging me. He's like, I got to do a mashup of your pools, like a couple of drone videos. I'm going to come over and I was like, all right, he was helping us with marketing and stuff. And he's like, I'm just going to do a drone. I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
And he just kind of put it out there. He just sent it to like Cheddar and like a few news places.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up on Yahoo's front page, which I got to imagine is fairly hard to do. And from there, it just spun out of control.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
So I think you do, like you said, you just gotta, my advice is just like, do something.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
Just do something.
Well, and it's like sometimes if you are so lucky or blessed, or it's usually a curated list, but like the YouTube trending page or something, or Twitter trending, everybody's got their thing, and usually those are curated lists I've come to find. But if you get on those, even one video one time, you probably be 100,000-millionaire millionaire for the rest of your life as long as you don't mess it up. And it's just wild. And so you guys, they always say opportunity. What is it? Success occurs when opportunity and preparedness meet. And so you guys had the opportunity, and you guys were more prepared, and then probably painfully realized how unprepared you were, right? For 500 orders.
Yeah. And really at that point, that was a pivotal point for us, because I think we were closer to bankruptcy at that point than ever before or after.
Wow.
Because we all of a sudden got all these deposits, and then we went to like mass produce, quote unquote, realized how difficult it was to mass produce, and that our costs actually went up the more we produced. It wasn't going down like you think it would. So our sale price was off. We weren't charging enough margin. We instantly had to do a price hike after we realized, oh crap, we just sold, I think at the time we had sold 70 pools at that price, and we're like, crap. So there was a lot of things going against you. And I'm just a firm believer, and I want to own what I own, and I don't want partners, and I don't want people telling me what to do. I just want to make it or not.
Sure.
And I want what I do to be mine. And maybe that's not a mentality for everybody, but it's been mine. And so without investors, without any extra money, I mean, we're just burning our own cash.
Wow.
And that got to a pivotal point where I was putting, a bunch of money, my own money, back in the company, and there wasn't a whole lot left. And so to break through past that point felt like a really big accomplishment once we got into year 2 and we started getting things figured out in manufacturing. And I was going, I was hitting the road myself. If somebody emailed us and said, hey, I want a mod pool, I'm interested, I'm in LA, or actually went to Michigan. I went everywhere.
Yeah.
So I would just jump on a plane and I would make a schedule for myself of people that were interested in mod pools, and I'd show up at their door.
Wow.
So I think you got to be willing to like put the work in. It's like nothing comes easy. The American dream or the Canadian dream isn't one of winning the lottery. Those people usually end up bankrupt. You've got to put the work in. That's the character building. That's what gets you through the really hard times when there's a problem with your pool and you got to fly out and fix it. And get an upset customer, or a truck breaks down, or they smash your pool to on a telephone pole. I mean, all those things have happened to us.
Wow.
But you've got to have that resolve, and you don't get that character without going through the trenches. I'm a firm believer in you've got to build character if you're going to be successful.
That's so, I mean, and we've all heard and we've all said on any way, shape, or form, success leaves clues, and success is repeatable and duplicatable. Like what works for one company or one guy, like success principles, they can work for the next guy. And I've seen the exact same thing with a couple other of my friends. They've burned through millions of dollars, and they've had those. I have $20 in my checking account. I'm at the trade show. Will somebody please buy one? And it's like make it or break it. You know what I mean? And and people are like, oh, you're like, dude, you're so awesome. Like you got it so easy, or lucky you, or man, right product, right time. And you're like, I didn't sleep for 4 years, bro. Like, we burned through sevens of figures of dollars, and it's, and we don't say that lightly. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to. It just means like, dude, there's a price to pay for success, and not everybody's willing to pay it, and to push through and to punch through. That is so. I'm just genuinely excited for you guys. I'm never in competition with anybody I ever have on my show. I'm just like everybody's biggest cheerleader and fan. I'm just like, that is the way. It just gives me encouragement that if I want to, shoot for the moon, Liz and I can still do whatever we want to do if we wanted to shift gears tomorrow. Let me ask you this. ModPools, we're going to probably land the plane here in just a quick minute, but where do you see things going over the next, 5-10 years? Is it, take it to the moon? Is it build it, sell it? No right or wrong answer, but it's been a crazy 5, 6, 7 years. Have you caught your breath yet and actually went to a pool party yet with your own, pool? Or where are you at on all that, Paul?
Thankfully, on Friday, I just installed one in my backyard, so my kids can finally have a pool again.
Yeah.
After moving from Canada, we haven't had a mod pool. Where are we going from here? I'm trying to do every day the best I can. Just make it the best day possible. I'm involved in manufacturing really, extensively right now, walking the shop floor, making sure the product's built in our new facility to the same quality standard that Canada had. So right now I'm really focused on that. I see that we have the capability of doing, 1,000, 1,500 pools a year. And I'm trying to lay that out. Now we've got a beautiful facility. Now what do we got to do to get there? And I think it's going to include some more partnerships. It's going to include partnerships with contractors, resellers. We've got certainly really far doing our own marketing. And I was just talking to another company. They're like, how did you even get here without having partnership agreements? And I'm glad we haven't until now, but I do see the future. If we're going to scale and be that milk truck going down the road, delivering pools on this side and that side of the road, and really be quick turnarounds, I think we need that infrastructure. We need, you've got to have the machine building the product, and you got to have the product being sold and shipped. And so I'm so involved in it now, and I truly love this. I'm not the most qualified for the job. On paper, it wouldn't even be a consideration, but I love what I do every day. And, I love the product. I'm just passionate about it. And I think until that, stops, if that ever ends, then that'd be my canary in the coal mine saying, hey, it's time to shift gears.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I'm excited for you guys. Genuinely, like I said, I had no lie, hundreds and hundreds of emails that come through, and I said, no, couldn't care less, no. And then I said, dude, I've never seen anything like this whole mod pool thing. This was a year ago plus that I followed you guys on Instagram, because I've been scoping out pools for almost 3-4 years now, and which one we're gonna get. And some of our friends are getting into the pool building business, and so I've been looking around, and I'm on Instagram lurking, at 3 a.m. like you guys, and just trying to see what makes sense. And I came across ModPools on Instagram well over a year ago, probably by now. And when your email came through, I said, holy cow, yes, I'd actually like to interview this gentleman, because that just seems like a cool product. A cool story, something different, disruptive in the marketplace, and who knows where things are going, And so, where can people find you, Paul, if they want to go down the rabbit hole of all things mod? You guys got social, Facebook, website? If you want to plug that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so I think our Instagram is kind of our best spot, because I think it's seeing is believing with our product. People often have a hard time understanding the product. So, our Instagram is modpools_official. And that's a great place to reach out to us. Our website has a 3D pool builder on it where you can build and design your own pool.
I've been on it.
You can get pricing. Yeah, you did.
I've been on it.
Thank you. So just modpools.com is a great place to land too. And I really appreciate you picking us out of the 500 emails to have us on or have me on.
Yeah.
Us, like there's 2 of us here. I'm bipolar, so there's 2 of us, apparently. No, there's just me. But yeah, I appreciate it, Brian, and it's great talking to you. And it's always really enjoyable talking about something you're passionate about. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, amen, brother. Well, to all of my friends that are listening to the show, we're all lawn care landscapers, contractors, hardscapers. I was giving you just a little rundown of who our audience is before we hit start, and I said maybe coming to a town near you, you guys might see some big old fat crane, hoisting one of these things over somebody's house and placing it in the backyard. And for all my hardscaper friends out there that are building these beautiful, outdoor living spaces, you might be encircling one of these things and building an outdoor living space with one before you know it. And if so, you can be like, hey, I actually know the guy, Paul, that builds these things. So how cool is that? So Paul, the pleasure's been all mine, my friend. I'll just kind of button it up here, because I want to be really respectful of your calendar and everything you got going on. But if we can ever do anything for you, reach out, say hey. But that's what I got. So any parting words? But if not, we'll button it up.
Yeah, no, just appreciative. Thanks for having me on, Brian. And it's, congratulations to your success of your podcast. And I have no doubt you'll be successful with all things in the future.
Thanks, brother. Well, appreciate that. Back at you. Amen. All right, guys. Well, you guys got to hear from my friend Paul here with ModPools, and give him a follow on Instagram, would you guys? And shoot him a DM, or maybe share the podcast and tag them, and let them know that you heard it from the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. And it's always great having different people on. And again, selfishly, I wanted to get Paul on the show. I said, this is actually a pretty cool product, and I'd love to hear more. And that's what I got for you guys in today's show. So, guys, thanks so much for listening into this episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. We're having new podcasts here for you guys Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to hit the follow button in the top right corner. Hit that plus sign. That way you guys get notified anytime there's a new podcast. All right, guys. Over and out. Have a beautiful rest of the day, and we'll look forward to catching up with you guys here on the next one.
Did you hear the news? The IRS is gearing up. They are adding 87,000 new IRS agents. Now is the time to make sure your financials are audit ready. Arm yourself with an accounting team that can proactively prepare you for this, starting with a solid bookkeeping foundation. Your time is best spent getting new clients or coordinating the work in the field, not scrambling for paperwork when the IRS comes knocking on your door. Get peace of mind. Work with Cycle CPA, a green industry accounting firm that will not only make sure you are audit ready, but will also highlight opportunities within your business to increase profits and cash flow. Visit their website, cyclecpa.com, and mention Brian's podcast to receive $200 off on bookkeeping and CFO services.
Oh, God. I'm going to have to shovel. I don't even have a snowblower. Nobody to plow me. Oh, my God, and the neighbors suck. They don't help. Oh, my God, what am I going to do?
Do you want to keep the cash flowing this winter? Head over to L'EntrepreneurAcademy.com and check out all of Brian Fullerton's new courses and powerful resources to get you cashing in on that white gold through plowing snow. The Snow Plowing Training Course is easy to understand, and you'll learn what it takes to do the job effectively and how to bid, price, and estimate snow plowing for both residential and commercial properties. L'EntrepreneurAcademy.com has 3 new resources to take the hassle and guesswork out of securing your snow removal jobs, plus there's eye-catching marketing materials that can help you secure new clients quickly. Ready to crush the snow game this year? Visit L'EntrepreneurAcademy.com or use the link in the podcast description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.